How the Grinch Stole Christmas by Dr. Seuss. Every Who down in Whoville liked Christmas a lot. But the Grinch, who lived just north of Whoville, did not. The Grinch hated Christmas, the whole Christmas season. Now, please don't ask why. No one quite knows the reason. It could be his head wasn't screwed on just right. It could be, perhaps, that his shoes were too tight. But I think that the most likely reason of all may have been that his heart was 2 sizes too small. But whatever the reason, his heart or his shoes, he stood there on Christmas Eve hating the Whos, staring down from his cave with a sour, grinchy frown as the warm-lighted windows below in their town. For he knew every Who down in Whoville beneath was busy now hanging a mistletoe wreath. And they're hanging their stockings, he snarled with a sneer. Tomorrow is Christmas. It's practically here. Then he growled with his Grinch fingers nervously drumming, I must find some way to stop Christmas from coming. For tomorrow, he knew all the Who girls and boys would wake bright and early, and they'd rush for their toys. And then, oh, the noise, noise. That's one thing he hated, the noise. Then the Whos, young and old, would sit down to a feast, and they'd feast, and they'd feast, and they'd feast. They would feast on Who pudding and rare Who roast beef, which is something the Grinch couldn't stand in the least. And then they'd do something he liked least of all. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, would stand close together with Christmas bells ringing. They'd stand hand in hand, and the Whos would start singing. They'd sing and they'd sing, and they'd sing. And the more the Grinch thought of this Who Christmas sing, the more the Grinch thought, I must stop this whole thing. Why, for 53 years I've put up with it now. I must stop this Christmas from coming. But how? Then he got an idea, an awful idea. The Grinch got a wonderful, awful idea. I know just what to do. The Grinch laughed in his throat, and he made a quick Santa Claus hat and a coat, and he chuckled and chuckled. What a great Grinchy trick. With this coat and this hat, I look just like Saint Nick. All I need is a reindeer. The Grinch looked around, but since reindeer are scarce, there was none to be found. Did that stop the old Grinch? No. The Grinch simply said, if I can't find a reindeer, I'll make one instead. So he called his dog Max. Then he took some red thread and he tied a big horn on the top of his head. Then he loaded some bags and some old empty sacks on a ramshackled sleigh, and he hitched up old Max. Then the Grinch said, get up! And the sleigh started down toward the homes where the Whos lay a snooze in their town. All their windows were dark. Quiet snow filled the air. All the Whos were all dreaming sweet dreams without care. When he came to the first little house on the square, this is stop number 1, the old Grinchy Claus hissed, and he climbed to the roof, empty bags in his fist. Then he slid down the chimney, a rather tight pinch, but if Santa could do it, then so could the Grinch. He got stuck only once for a moment or two, and then he stuck his head out of the fireplace flue, where the little Who stockings all hung in a row. These stockings, he grinned, are the first things to go. Then he slithered and slunk with a smile most unpleasant around the whole room. He took every present. Pop guns and bicycles, roller skates, drums, checkerboards, tricycles, popcorn, and plums. And he stuffed them in bags. Then the Grinch very nimbly stuffed all the bags one by one up the chimney. Then he slunk to the icebox. He took the Who's feast. He took the Who's pudding. He took the roast beast. He cleaned out that icebox as quick as a flash. Why, that Grinch even took the last can of Who hash. Then he stuffed all the food up the chimney with glee. And now, grinned the Grinch, I will stuff up the tree. And the Grinch grabbed the tree and he started to shove when he heard a small sound, like the coo of a dove. He turned around fast and he saw a small Who, little Cindy Lou Who was not more than 2. The Grinch had been caught by this tiny Who daughter who'd got out of bed for a cup of cold water. She stared at the Grinch and said, Santa Claus, why? Why are you taking our Christmas tree? Why? But you know, that old Grinch was so smart and so slick, he thought up a lie, and he thought it up quick. Why, my sweet little tot, the fake Santa Claus lied. There's a light on this tree that won't light on one side, so I'm taking it home to my workshop, my dear. I'll fix it up there, then I'll bring it back here. And his fib fooled the child. Then he patted her head and got her a drink and he sent her to bed. And when Cindy Lou Who went to bed with her cup, he went to the chimney and stuffed the tree up. Then the last thing he took was the log from their fire. Then he went up the chimney himself, the old liar. And on the walls he left nothing but hooks and some wire. And the one speck of food that he left in the house was a crumb that was even too small for a mouse. Then he did the same thing to the other Who's houses, leaving crumbs much too small for the other Who's mouses. It was 15:15 dawn, all the Who's still abed, all the Who's still a snooze, when he packed up his sled. Packed it up with their presents, the ribbons, the wrappings, the tags and the tinsel, the trimmings, the trappings. 3,000 feet up the side of Mount Crumpet, he rode with his load to the tip-top to dump it. Pooh-pooh to the Who's, he was grinchiously humming. They're finding out now that no Christmas is coming. They're just waking up. I know just what they'll do. Their mouths will hang open a moment or two. Then the Who's down in Whoville will all cry, boo-hoo. That's a noise, grinned the Grinch, that I simply must hear. So he paused, and the Grinch put a hand to his ear, and he did hear a sound rising over the snow. It started in low, then it started to grow. But the sound wasn't sad. Why, this sound sounded merry. It couldn't be so, but it was merry. Very. He stared down at Whoville. The Grinch popped his eyes. Then he shook. What he saw was a shocking surprise. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, was singing without any presents at all. He hadn't stopped Christmas from coming. It came. Somehow or other, it came just the same. And the Grinch, with his Grinch feet ice cold in the snow, stood puzzling and puzzling. How could it be so? It came without ribbons. It came without tags. It came without packages, boxes, or bags. And he puzzled 3 hours till his puzzler was sore. And then the Grinch thought of something he hadn't before. Maybe Christmas, he thought, doesn't come from a store. Maybe Christmas perhaps, means a little bit more. And what happened then? Well, in Whoville they say that the Grinch's small heart grew 3 sizes that day. And then the true meaning of Christmas came through, and the Grinch found the strength of 10 Grinches plus 2. And the minute his heart didn't feel quite so tight, he whizzed with his load through the bright morning light. He brought back the toys and the food for the feast. And he, the Grinch, he himself, carved the roast beast.
Hi, I'm Stephanie from Box Free with Stephanie, and I just wanted to wish you happy holidays this year. This is my dog Arrow. She wants to say happy holidays. So from our house to yours, we hope you have a great Christmas. And you might see my dog in my show sometimes because she wanders around the kitchen. She cleans up all my messes on the floor, and she's a sweetheart who's slipping and sliding. Come here, come here. In her little holiday sweater. Come here. Happy holidays! Hello, welcome to Box Free with Stephanie, the special holiday edition. Today I want to show you how to make some basic foods with simple ingredients from scratch. But because it's the holiday edition, we're going to make a very special holiday treat. One of my favorites is cream cheese mince. It's a very classic holiday treat that is super easy, super simple, and I think just delicious. So in here I have 3 ounces of cream cheese, regular full-fat cream cheese. I think you really want that for this recipe. And to that we are going to add our peppermint extract. So for 3 ounces of cream cheese you do half a teaspoon. A lot of times when I'm making this I will double the recipe because we really love these cream cheese mints and kind of go through them a lot. But today I want to just do kind of the regular amount. Hang on, I got to change my utensil here. Okay, so first what you're doing is basically mixing up your mint into your cream cheese. And then we're going to add powdered sugar, and then we're going to add just a little bit of food coloring, which I'm really not a fan of, but for the holidays you just have to have that green, luscious mint color, which takes like 1 or 2 drops. Okay, so that's your softened cream cheese. Now we're going to add about 3 cups of powdered sugar. And we're going to see how messy I can make my beautiful red tablecloth, because powdered sugar, you know how that is, like flaky and messy. So I don't think I'm going to have a red tablecloth very long, but that's okay. So let me just move this for a minute. This is kind of a slow process. You basically just stir this in and you kind of go 1 cup at a time, because otherwise you end up with just so much powdered sugar in there to begin with. But this recipe is one of my favorites. So there's your first cup. Okay, it basically looks like frosting, I guess you could say. And then we're going to add our second cup. And it already looks like it's snowing on my tablecloth. And that's okay. We're going to add this. So I'm just going to stir this in until it's all blended. Okay, now this is when it starts to become a little workout. You know how everybody says like our grandmothers from the olden days used to be like just super strong women? Well, I think it's because you have to be kind of a strong woman to cook from scratch, and the way they used to have to cook from scratch, I can't even imagine how much harder it would be than what we have to do. Anyway, so I'm just saying, I think those women were pretty tough, strong, physically strong. So now we're going to knead this in, and then we're going to add our food coloring. Then we're probably going to end up kneading it by hand, because it's just gets to be really tough kind of and dry. But that's okay, it is delicious. And it's worth a little bit of muscle effort. And my family has been making this, I don't know, 10 or 15 years. And we always do a skating party the eve of Christmas Eve. And so we always bring our favorite cookies and peanut clusters and cream cheese mints. And we go skating and we bring hot cocoa. We skate for a while outside. Then we go in the warming shack. We have some treats. And then we come home and actually we go back out skating again. Then we come home and then we sit and stare at the Christmas tree again, because Christmas is so pretty. Okay, so now I'm going to add my food coloring, because I think that's mixed enough. You end up, we'll probably add a little more powdered sugar as we go. But my food coloring from the 1970s, or I don't know, this is just a super old set, whoopsie, that I've had forever. My lid came off and I got to get out my, see it in there? Got to get that thing out of there. Oh boy, here we go. Okay, so this is liquid, so I'm going to do just 1 drop at first, because I don't really like to have, I mean, look how much green that is already. So we'll see if the 1 drop is enough. I'm not going to add any more food coloring because I can tell this is green enough for me, so I'm going to put my lid on this before I spill it and end up with a green holiday tablecloth. Okay, now I think I'm just going to dig right in there with my fingers, because this is getting a little bit tough to do with my little spoon, and this ends up being a finger food cook treat anyway when you actually go to shape them and put them on your dish. So let's see. We're just going to reach in. Okay, that's what I was afraid of. It's still really wet, and so when I reach in, I'm going to get full of glop. So I'm going to add a little more powdered sugar. And this also would be really fun for kids. At this point, you could basically divide up, all the kids could have their own little bowl and then let them do all the kneading, because again, there's really no wrong way to make cream cheese mince. So it's a really fun thing for kids to do because it's really messy, and they can lick all their fingers, and it's just this delicious mint flavor. You can smell the mint already. So this is a fun thing for kids to get involved in holiday treats, because we all like holiday treats and it's a fun thing to do together. You could actually do this on the same day you eat them, because you just have to let them chill for maybe like an hour. Okay, there I got a big glob of coloring, so I'm going to mix that in. It's getting a little bit sticky, so I'm going to add more. Whoa, just got snowy. Add more cream cheese, powdered sugar. You could tell the kids you're adding snow to your cream cheese. In fact, you could actually make these into like little snowmen, make little 3 balls on top of each other. I don't know if they'd really survive, but you can do whatever you want. Because when it gets to be about this consistency, it's manageable, but not too dry. That's when you start shaping them. And to shape them, all you really do is just roll them in a ball like this, and you can really make these whatever size you want. This actually seems kind of big, so I'm going to make it just a little bit smaller. You really don't need a big mint with these because it's just solid sugar. So you put it down, and then you kind of put some kind of masher on there, and then you press it down. So I think this is a pretty big one. I'm going to go a little bit smaller. And you can put these on like wax paper if you don't want to put them right onto your serving tray. But I don't think... yeah, I'm going to just put them on here, and then I'm going to put that outside for half an hour or so. And these you definitely need to keep in the refrigerator because they are cream cheese, so you don't want to do any food poisoning around the holidays. That wouldn't be fun. The other thing you can do is put them in molds. Sorry, my dog's barking. Maybe Santa Claus is coming. Maybe he's out there. You can put these in molds and then pop them out, but I just don't have any cute little molds like that. Mine are too big. And I would say these, so here, they're like 2 fingers wide, and these are going to be very big. I think most times when I make them for my family, I end up doing them about that size, which is more like the size of a quarter. But you just sit and roll these out. Super easy for kids to do. So like here, I'll show you how you could make a little snowman. You could do like that, and then a little bitty head. And the kids, I'm sure, would love it. Like that. Then you just kind of squish it down. Okay? So there's your cream cheese Santa. Oh my gosh, your cream cheese snowman. Okay, so I'm just going to sit and make these and think about snowman. Okay, we're almost done making all of our cream cheese mince. I ran out of space kind of on my platter, so I've moved over to my second little cutting board. The one thing I wanted to say is these make really nice gifts. A little container of cream cheese mince and some cookies or maybe peanut clusters. They're just a really nice holiday treat for people. I think they're such a classic Christmas treat that a lot of people really do like that taste at Christmas time. And the other thing I was going to say for storing them, once they are chilled and a little firmer, then you can't really store them like this. They have to be in an airtight container, but they also have to have wax paper between the layers. So once if you had this, your container, you put wax paper, then put more, then put wax paper, then put more, because these do end up getting kind of sticky, and you don't want them to stick to each other. And I have basically in the past made these and then kind of covered them in powdered sugar again. But every time I do, it seems like by the time I go there the next day, all the powdered sugar on them is absorbed into them. So I've just discovered this is just fine. Once you get that kind of kneading dough that you can actually work with, you're good to go. So now just imagine if these were little kids and your fingers were full of mints, you could just go ahead and just lick all your fingers, and it's a really nice thing to do with the children, or you can make a bunch of mint snowmen. So thank you for watching Box Free with Stephanie. I hope you enjoyed the holiday edition, and I hope your family loves cream cheese mints. And thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Loving my dad and my mom, and decorating my house and giving the Christmas tree, and going to my grandma and grandpa's house. We make angel cookies.
Who do you make angel cookies with?
It's like an angel, and we put it in the cookie, and it makes a cookie angel. Wait, can I have one? Wrap presents.
Presents? Oh, what kind of presents?
Christmas presents.
Oh, anything else?
Halloween candy.
Oh, yummy.
Eating cookies. Yeah. And watching TV. Setting up a bunch of Christmas trees. And decorating for Christmas. The holidays mean to me that eating cookies and playing with my doll and setting up Christmas lights and doing all that fun stuff.
Thank you, Oli. Leo, what do the holidays mean to you?
I'm going to go up at Becky's house.
Grandma Vicky's house?
Yeah.
What else?
Candy.
Hark the herald angels sing. Oh, what a glorious, glorious thing. I know this is Christmas, so go on and hold your baby tonight. This is a season with blankets of white. Oh, what a fine time to hold you so right. I know this is Christmas, so go on and hold your baby tonight. Now that Jack Frost, he comes a-whipping, Salvation Army bells they ring. Sweet dreams, all you children, train sets they're a-blowing. Can't you hear those carolers sing as the lights do their dance and Christmas is nigh? People are rushing, each passes by. I know this is Christmas, so go on and hold your baby tonight. I know this is Christmas, so go on and hold
bonjour, Kanoya. Ogima Gizik and Disney Cast, Tigwek and Dodem. Cha Banning and Dunjaba, Anushinabe, Minua, Ode Wadame, in the Iwi Kagi, Bungi, Nogum, Iwi Naga moment. My name is Andrew Jackson. I am of the Thunder Clan. I am Potawatomi and Ojibwe. I'm from the village of Chachabaning or Inger. I teach here at the Deer River School, and we're going to sing some songs. A song that was composed by one of our students, Dorian Tapo, and I'll be also singing with Hubert Wakanabo. I don't know if Dorian wanted to say anything about the song, but he made this song and he taught this song to us, and we really enjoyed singing this song. We sang it at round dance socials, and it's just a social song that you can enjoy if you can dance with your friends, or if you have a sweetheart or a loved one. You know, that's the type of song that we're going to sing.
Hello, shalom. Kindle the taper like the steadfast star, ablaze on evening's forehead o'er the earth, and add each night a luster till afar, an enlightened splendor shine above thy hearth. Clash, Israel, the cymbals, touch the lyre, bow the brass trumpet and the harsh-tongued horn, chant psalms of victory till the heart takes fire, the Maccabean spirit leap newborn. Remember how from wintry dawn till night such songs were sung in Zion, when again on the high altar flamed the sacred light, and purified from every Syrian stain, the foam-white walls with the golden shields were hung with crowns and silken spoils, and at the shrine stood, midst their conqueror of tribe, 5 chieftains sprung from one heroic stock, one seed divine. 5 branches grown from Matthias's stem. Blessed Johanan, the keen-eyed Jonathan, Simon the fair, the burst of spring, the gem, Eleazar, help of God o'er all his clan. Judah the lion prince, the avenging rod, towered in warrior beauty, the uncrowned king, armed with the breastplate and the sword of God, whose praise is, he received the perishing. They who had camped within the mountain pass, couched on the rock and tented 'neath the sky, who saw from Mizpah's heights and tangled grass, choke the wide temple courts, the altar lie disfigured and polluted, who had flung their faces in the stones and mourned aloud and rented their garments, wailing with one tongue, crushed as windswept bed of reeds is bowed. Even they by one voice fired, one heart of flame through the broken rods had risen and were men. They rushed upon the spoiler and o'ercame each arm for freedom, had the strength of 10. Now is their mourning into dancing turned, their sackcloth doffed for garments of delight. Week long the festive torches shall be burned. Music and revelry wed the day with night. Still ours the dance, the feast, the glorious psalm, the mystic lights of emblem and the word. Where is our Judah? Where is our 5-branched palm? Where are the lion warriors of the Lord? Clash, Israel, the cymbals touch the lyre. Sound the brass trumpet and the harsh-tongued horn. Chant hymns of victory till the heart take fire. The Maccabean spirit leap newborn. And Hag Hanukkah Sameach to all my benches out there. Happy Hanukkah to everyone.
welcome to Box Free with Stephanie, the special holiday edition. Today, like my other shows, I want to show you how to make some basic foods with simple ingredients from scratch. But because it's the holiday edition, today we're going to make one of my favorite Christmas treats. It's super easy, peanut clusters. I mean, it's just 2 ingredients to make peanut clusters, so let's cook together. Today we're going to heat up some chocolate chips in a pan and heat those so that they melt. I have 2 cups of chocolate chips and I'm just going to melt them over my heat. Kind of slower heat for this. If you have a microwave, you can put them in the microwave. I actually don't have one, if you can believe that, but I sometimes do a double broiler to melt my chocolate, but I don't know, I've just kind of decided that this works fine, and especially for such an easy recipe like this, because all you really do is melt your chocolate, add your peanuts, drop them onto your wax paper, let them chill outside. That's usually what I do in the winter, or you can throw them in your refrigerator or freezer for like a half an hour and then store them in the fridge so they stay kind of hard and they don't all get messy together. But it's one of the favorite things. I make it every year because I absolutely love peanuts and chocolate. And I do have in here 2 cups of semi-sweet Ghirardelli chocolate. About half the time I make this with milk chocolate and not semi-sweet, just because I guess for the holidays I want that really nice, delicious chocolate flavor. But that also seems sometimes overly sweet. So this time I'm doing semi-sweet chocolate chips. I have never done dark chocolate with my peanut clusters because I think it would not be sweet enough. It'd almost be too bitter, I feel like. So I always just do milk chocolate or semi-sweet, but I do always have a nicer quality of chocolate because something like this with only 2 ingredients, you really will taste that chocolate. And you want a nice chocolate taste. Okay, so you can see already my chocolate is almost melted. This is a really fast recipe that you could get kind of crazy and do cashews, walnuts, mini chocolate chips. You can make like a Rocky Road cluster. I mean, it's really whatever you want to get creative with, but I personally just love the simplicity of the peanuts and the chocolate. Okay, in that short of time we have melted our chocolate. Basically, I'm just looking for all my chocolate pieces to be melted nicely. Then I'm going to simply add my peanuts to this. So in here I have about 2 cups of peanuts, and I must not ever measure this because I don't remember. So I don't know, I'm just putting them in. We're gonna just see, we can always add more peanuts. And then you basically just stir this up to coat all your peanuts, and that's it. This can literally be made in 5 minutes. We're gonna be done in like a minute. So you want them to have enough chocolate so that every peanut is actually coated in it. You don't want any white stuff like we have here, so we still need to stir this in a little bit, but this is looking like a good ratio. So 2 cups of chocolate chips to 2 cups of peanuts, and it's one of my favorite holiday treats. Okay, so now that's it. It's that fast. Now I'm going to put them onto my waxed paper. And you can make these whatever size of treat you want. So I like to do about a tablespoon like that. So whoopsie. All we're gonna do is put them onto our wax paper. So hopefully your family has some good holiday traditions, because this food is definitely my family's tradition. But it's kind of funny because nobody loves them as much as I do. So I always say, who wants peanut clusters? And everybody's like, whatever. And I'm like, I do. I'm gonna make them for sure. So I make them every year. And then I probably eat most of them because, again, I love them more than anybody else. But that's okay. The more for me is fine with me. So these just kind of blob on there. I don't know, it's nothing too special. It's really easy. This would be the kind of treat that you could make with all your nieces and nephews, and little kids can help, because if they make a messy blob on the wax paper, totally doesn't matter. There's no right or wrong way to do this. And then you could get really fancy and let them put in whatever they love. Maybe they want mini chocolate chips or, you know, whatever they kind of like for candy. But this would be a really fun thing to make with your family. And little kids, I mean. Okay, so we're about halfway done. Okay, it came together really fast. We're almost done. I have a little bit of chocolate left in my pan, and I don't know, for some reason I just can't let that go. So I always put a few more peanuts in there, and then I stir that around until basically I have been able to use up all of my chocolate, because you don't want to lose any of it. But you could also just eat it off the spatula before you wash your pan, which I do that too. But this looked like a little too much. So, and now I've added a little too many peanuts because they're not, see how they're not nice and dark the way the other ones were? So I added just a few too many, but again, it's okay. And I was gonna say the other thing is once these cool, then the chocolate like sticks together. So that's what holds these things together. It's just the chilled chocolate. And so I always keep mine in the fridge because I think if you kept them on the counter, if you have a really warm house, they might actually start to get melty and get kind of messy. But once they're all cooled, then I just put them in a Christmas tin and put them in my fridge. And where am I going to put this one? Slide this over and jam that in there. Okay. So in about 6 minutes, you have delicious homemade peanut clusters for your holiday celebration. So thank you for watching Box Free with Stephanie, the special holiday edition. I hope you like these peanut clusters and hope your family loves them. Thank you for watching. Bye.
Hello, I'm Annie Olson-Reiners.
And I'm Carmen Olson-Reiners.
And we are here together today to read you a story.
Specifically, it's a Christmas story.
It is called The Night Before Christmas. This book is illustrated by Jan Brett, and the poem is by Clement Moore. The Night Before Christmas. The Night Before Christmas by Jan Brett. Poem by Clement Moore. For Gregory, Sophie, and Lee Saris. Your turn.
'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse.
The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds,
while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. And Mama in her kerchief and I in my cap had just settled down for a long winter's nap.
When out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters, and threw up the sash. The moon on the breast of the new-fallen snow
gave a luster of midday to objects below, when what to my wondering eye should appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer, with a little odd driver, so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be Saint Nick.
More rapid than eagles, his coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donder and Blitzen. And probably Rudolph too.
Yes. To the top of the porch, to the top of the wall, now dash away, dash away, dash away all. As dry leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle, mount to the sky. So up to the housetop the coursers they flew, with a sleigh full of toys, and St. Nicholas too.
And then in a twinkling, I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound.
He was dressed in all fur from his head to his foot, and his clothes were tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back. He looked like a peddler just opening his pack.
His eyes, how they twinkled. His dimples, how merry. His cheeks were like roses. His nose, like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard on his chin was as white as the snow.
The stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke it encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly.
He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread.
He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work and filled all the stockings, then turned with a jerk.
And laying his finger aside of his nose and giving a nod, up the chimney he rose.
He sprang to his sleigh to his team gave a whistle.
And away they all flew like the down on a thistle. But I heard him exclaim, ere he drove out of sight,
Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night.